Hello, um, thank you for being here. Um, we are Spark Studio. I'm Cris.
I'm Lucas.
We are a creative studio specialized in animation and illustration with a focus on the music world, and we do things like well, what I'm showing now. So, we came from different backgrounds. I came from graphic design and illustration, and Lucas came from motion graphics. And
Yeah, I started doing animations for in other areas, and then I met Chris shortly before the pandemic in 2020, and that's when we started trying to work together. And then at that time, a musician called Sonic Boom, he's an English musician, but he lives in Portugal. He was about to release his album, and we reached out to him, and it came the opportunity to do some motion stuff for him, and at the end a music video. So that's our first project in that area, and that kind of opened the door for us to work in that area, something that we both like. And after that, we did some other projects with other artists from the same area as Sonic Boom, some friends of him, I would say. And after doing that, we decided to create a studio, because before that we were just using our names. So we put together a studio called Spark Studio, and I think it was important for us to use the word studio instead of an agency, or I don't know what else we could have been called it, but I think we like the word studio because we wanted to keep as the studio of Lucas and Chris and keep it artistically in a way.
and one of the things that we really wanted to do at the studio, since we both have different backgrounds and different interests, was that we really wanted to explore different techniques and learn different things during the project. So we just started making 3D animation, frame by frame animation, vector animation, mixed media animation, and with that we created different projects and start learning at the same time. So here we can see some frames of different projects that we have been doing, and other frames. So what we do is to adapt the technique to the song, and we don't have a technique and use always the same thing at different songs. We think every song is unique, and the technique needs to reflect that.
So now we're gonna more deep into some projects. This one was a large project that we did for Sonic Boom and Panda Bear. They are both living in Portugal now, but Panda Bear is from the band called Animal Collective. He's an American musician, and Sonic Boom is Pete Camber. He played in Spaceman 3, and he's from England. So they teamed up together during the pandemics too, and they produced this album. And they invited us to do everything from I think you can skip ahead from the social media promos that we used the artwork as a reference for the colors and for the idea of they kind of like playing together like toys. And we also ended up doing a music video for one of the songs called Whirlpool. Here's a little tease for that track. The idea it was came from Pete of having this translucent guy going down on the ocean and being pushed by a whirlpool. So he had the concept and we just animated his idea. And after that, we did a bunch of designs for posters for a tour, and also for the digital release, the release party on YouTube. And these are for some events in Portugal too. I think it was the album release in Lisbon. Go next. And then we are also now doing some merch for the tour. They're selling on the tour. We have here the T-shirt and the rolling papers that they are selling now.
And the next project we'd like to talk about is the live visuals we did for Alfie Templeman for his show in London at the Alternate. It was a show in November, and before that we have a little video about the making of this project. I'm going to play it.
Today let's talk about our live visuals for Alfie Templeman. We were invited to make the live visuals for Alfie Templeman's show in London at the Alternate in November. This project was under the creative direction of Drinkwater Studio. To start the process, we created a mood board for each song, using keywords provided by the artists. For the song Everybody's Gonna Love Somebody, we aimed to recreate the character from the official music video, incorporating that scenario into the live visuals for the performance. We drew everything in vector and animated the drawings, creating distinct loops for the live visuals. It was a really fun project for us and I hope you like it so much as we did.
So, as I was telling at the video, we started that project with some keywords that was provided by the art director of Alfie Templeman, and those keywords were something like groovy, 80s, fun, colorful, and with these words we start sketching, and we did these sketches in vector on Illustrator, and we started with something like that. We did the different sketches for each song because we wanted to tell a story for each song during the show. And then the final composition looked at something like this. We insert an element on all the animations, the city that you can see here. We decided to put this city on all the animation because it was an element on the artwork of the album, and because it was an element that could connect all the animations during the show. Here you can see a photo of the show with the animation that you saw on the previous slide, and this is a video of the show. With another animation.
This is a project that we did at the beginning of the year for Steve Manson. He is a founding member of the Beta Band, and he was releasing his new album, and Domino Records, the label, reached out to us to do a visualizer for the track Brixton Fish Fry, which features a Pakistani singer too. And the main concept of the track and the album was multiculturalism and diversity, and we wanted to illustrate that using a bunch of techniques and a bunch of styles and kind of mix them together. So we created some illustrations like this but we also did some hand draw animation like this. It's a super quick loop. And we also mixed some collages and some other effects in the middle. And another aspect was since it was a lyric video, we wanted to use a typeface that also mimic that idea of combining two cultures, and we noticed that that was a thing that Steve Manson was already doing on his posters. So we basically just asked for that typeface because it was going on the same way that we were about like mixing Latin and other typeface configurations. So here's a preview of the track.
So, and the last project we'd like to present is also the last project we did, our last release, was this project we did for Shirley Collins. This project was a project of 3 videos we did for her last album, Archangel Hill, that she released, I think, 2 weeks ago or last week. And for this project, we tried to keep the concept of the album under 3 videos, because Shirley has a concept of mountains and nature and all of her work. We used the hand-draw animation on all of the videos, but all of them tells different stories. For example, for the first one, I'm going to put play. Um, it tells a story of the tornado, and we try to tell the story before and after the tornado appears, and we did that using 3D for the tornado and using frame by frame animation for the backgrounds. This is the full video, yeah. Yeah, these backgrounds.
It's a scene that you can see like the drowning at first, and then the tornado in 3D, and then the effects caused by the tornado next.
In the second video, we try to keep the same aesthetic but telling a different story. So on this one, there's a character, Sally, that Shirley tells about on the lyrics, because our lyrics are really narrative. So we try to tell the story of this character during the video. And this is the last one, that basically is the story of a boat.
Yeah, it's kind of the story of a ship, and on the background and on the foreground, some illustrations of what she's telling on the lyrics.
We also have a little making of video for this project.
We had the pleasure of illustrating and animating for 3 different songs of Shirley Collins' new album, Archangel Hill.
Reading Shirley's lyrics is like reading the pages of a romance novel, and we wanted to evoke the same sensation with the illustrations we created.
We thought about using a different narrative for each video.
For High and Away, we focused on multiple scenes and elements where the tornado appears.
For Heirs of the Mountain, have the dialogue between the main character and the things she sees to reflect her point of view.
And for Part 3, Well, My Dearest Dear, we have the journey of traveling ship in the background and other memories in the foreground.
We used multiple techniques to achieve this, including hand-drawn animation, compositing, and 3D, but always trying to preserve the same style and a handmade feel.
Shirley's lyrics and music were super inspiring to us, and it was great to be part of this.
So lastly, we just wanted to talk a bit about some things that we value in our work and we think that are important for us. Starting with with collaboration, meaning the way that we interact with the artist, because all the work in the end is a collaboration between what they are doing and what we are doing. So having that dialogue is super important for us, and we treat them, even though they are clients, we treat them as friends. We made a lot of friendship in this project, so that's something important for us. Also keep learning new techniques, keep in and also mixing them and seeing what they can happen, instead of there's a lot of people in our area that are just more like focused on doing one thing, and we don't have that uh, that focus. Yeah, we prefer to explore and go all around. What else?
Yeah, and when we say inspiration everywhere, we mean that we really like to have our daily life with things that inspiring us, like having books around us, seeing exhibitions, and seeing movies or whatever that can inspire us. And about sharing, it's like we think that it's important to make things like what we are doing now, sharing with people that we don't know, or sharing on Instagram our process, or talking more about us, and we can also learn with what other people are doing. So we think it's important to create kind of a community and share.
That's it. Thank you.